Hi, good morning. My name is Kurt Ewen. I'm the Vice Chancellor for Planning and Institutional Effectiveness here at Houston Community College. And I'm here to share with you a little bit more about an invitation that you've received by way of email recently from me related to a water resiliency boot camp. And so I'm going to provide a little bit of context for why HCC is interested in doing something like that, or they're sponsoring such an event. And then our good friend of HCC, Richard Seline, is going to tell you a little bit about his work with Accelerate H2O. The future of our centers of excellence at Houston Community College is really more about figuring out how to better collaborate across the system than it is about envisioning brand new centers of excellence. We currently have 15. We're not envisioning that someday we would have 30. But what we are envisioning is that we would begin the process now of figuring out how to encourage cross COE, if you will, collaboration. That's a new skill that we're going to need to develop, and along the way we'll figure out what the training would look like, what the enrollment patterns would look like, what potential new degrees might emerge from blending the work of engineering and healthcare, IT, and you name it. So we're using this water resiliency boot camp as both an opportunity to explore a very specific idea, as well as to learn a new skill as an institution. I'm hoping that you'll accept our invitation and come to the boot camp. What I've learned about water resiliency and pre-risk mitigation has been fascinating to me, and immediately saw the connection that it could have to our work in our centers of excellence. And with that, I'm going to hand the theoretical mic over to Richard to tell you a little bit about what water resiliency is, his work, and what he's hoping for from this boot camp. Richard?
Well, Kurt, first off, thank you to the Chancellor and to you and to faculty that have already participated in some of our prior gatherings. I think you hit it on the mark, and that is resilience for us is pre-disaster mitigation. We now know, based on all the after-action reports and all the lessons learned from Hurricane Harvey, from even the most recent fires on the ship channel, that the more you put investment of assets, infrastructure, equipment, technology, but more importantly, people, are pre-disaster mitigated. They're looking at what I can do before an incident and be better prepared, but also be better trained, is critical. Between FEMA, the insurance and private insurance folks, they've all said that the best way to reduce the cost of these incidents, and frankly, the loss of life, loss of business, is to be pre-disaster mitigated. So if I'm a faculty at HCC, the first thing I'm wondering is, one, why a boot camp, and two, what does it mean for me, right? So I think your offer to partner brings forward a significant amount of your COEs and faculty expertise that are cross-functional. And a boot camp in this instance is really to bring all these people together from the private sector, elected and appointed officials, to sit together and really talk about what are the skills and talent we need for greater Houston, for this region, to become a truly risk mitigated community against all kinds of floods, fires, storms, whatever these incidents are. And I think you shared an example with me. If I've got somebody in construction and somebody in artificial intelligence, bringing those two together is critical now in everything that we do for disaster recovery, disaster mitigation. If I'm somebody in biology who's focused on potentially water quality or some aspect of biology, I want to be able to know what I can do for water quality, water purification, all the way over to all of the other aspects that require something related to bio. It could be a biological product, a waste product, or it could be a health related connected to the first responders. So the wealth and depth of what HCC's faculty brings to the table is just off the charts. What we now need to do is find ways to connect those, as you've raised and the chancellor's raised, and to now identify what really are these market demands, that whether it's the county, the city, the public works infrastructure, the water system, or it's Exxon and BP or whoever it is in the private sector or the port, needs a workforce.
And so I think your examples are really helpful because it makes the work a little more tangible. And I'm hoping that a dean or a program chair or a faculty member might be able to say, oh, I get this. And then our job would be then to figure out how do we build this out, right? So
Exactly.
You've got a whole set of currently employed workers who need to be backfilled in their understanding of pre-risk mitigation, right?
Exactly.
And then the workforce of the future is going to need a different kind of degree or certificate that says this person not only can weld, but can weld in a way that brings an understanding of virtual reality, artificial intelligence to the work. Is that right?
Exactly. And I think, look, you've got so many of these centers and you've got so many campuses that touch different parts of the community as well as the economy in the region, that those touch points are critical for these individual deans and faculty to see where they sit is connected to exactly. Let me use an example. This between the congressional appropriations, the state appropriations, the county bond money, and the city bond money, there is over $14 billion that is going to be spent, a majority of it in this region, for flood mitigation. This is everything from tunnels to detention ponds to all, right? They are telling us right now that they need workforce for this new construction demand. But they also need workforce to take a look at how they're going to operate and maintain this. Mm-hmm. And it's not your typical concrete and rebar anymore. Kurt, you and I, talked about this. That's the reason why you have to make these connections with logistics for delivery of a supply chain, all the way over to the IT pieces of it. I can't see a better platform than HCC and the faculty that you've got to be able to come together. And this is all brand new. So for all of this, let's admit, this is all brand new, right. All right? But we also have heard from companies that are coming and have already registered, from the Greater Houston Partnership to a company that is a national company looking for disaster response workforce. There is obviously a demand. We just now have the opportunity, starting with this boot camp on July 26th, to start forming what are the curricula, what are the skill sets, and having the faculty be there and share their ideas, but also for all of us to learn ultimately what's going to be on the table going forward. Mm-hmm. And the amount of resources that are available to help grow this with HCC, as you and I know, is becoming pretty evident, including the legislative appropriations as it relates to the new institute.
So let's talk momentarily about what the structure of the day looks like, just to give people an idea. Part of what we're going to be doing is bringing in experts from across the state to make the case for why water resiliency is important and how an educated pipeline of educated workforce is essential to the future of this region and actually all across the Gulf, right?
Yep,
really,
exactly.
And in other places. Washington, D.C. just yesterday was flooded out,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we're designing this around the notion of the Center of Excellence advisory committees that we already have. So we're going to be bringing in people who work in industry who know already the need that they have and are looking to us to help fill the need in terms of their current workers or the workers of the future. Give us an example of some of the people that are, some of the industries that are, or businesses that are coming.
Right. So there are several companies that are in the manufacturing space. All right. Some of them are coming from the energy. Some of them are just coming from, more traditional manufacturing. All right. They run very large facilities and large infrastructure. Mm-hmm. They are trying to figure out what is their demands to make sure, whether it's a flood, a flash flood, a hurricane, a fire, what is it that they need on those campuses to make sure that those facilities operate 100% for business continuity, but also how do they impact their employees? All right. We have, as I mentioned, we have a company that is one of the largest disaster response companies in the country, where they actually have people deployed in Puerto Rico now. They are looking for 30 folks to be in Alaska, all right, as much as they are here in our own backyard. So these are companies that are coming to detail in these reverse pitches, as we talked about. They're coming to say, look, here's what our needs are. Here's the experiences we've had. What do you have out there at HCC that can bring something together? So I think the reverse pitches opportunity, we're going to be able to hear from the county, the state, the county, and the city offices of emergency management. Not just from a first responder perspective, but from their interactions with the private sector. We've got chambers coming. We have 3 chambers: Greater Houston Partnership, West Houston Association, the Hispanic Chamber, coming about what their members are telling them, but also what their members can offer. So I think what we have an opportunity on July 26th for the faculty, for all of us, to really hear about what will be, Kurt, a first in the nation gathering like this. I've had an opportunity to be in New Orleans, Miami, DC, a couple other places, and this is a first in the nation opportunity, I think, for us to discover together how to design something. And so the day is really set up not for a lot of speeches, but for a lot of engagement. And then after lunch, I think at your guidance and direction, what we want is faculty sitting at different tables with the participants that are coming and being able to have an open, very quick dialogue about, I need this kind of person with this kind of skill sets, and what do you got?
So I'm hoping what you're hearing is that this is both a short-term and a long-term visioning session that we believe has the ability a little differently about the work we're doing currently and in the future. I'm hopeful that you'll give some thought to joining us on July 26th. I think it's going to be a great day. I do understand, however, it's summer and you may not be here. My hope would be is that if you're interested, you'll still reach out to me. Let me know that you're interested, so we'll keep you on the list. Stay abreast of this conversation. This is the beginning of a new way of thinking about the work that we're doing in the COEs that we're hoping to replicate in other areas. Thanks for your time, and I hope to see you.
Thank you.